There's a new Elle Duncan, Caitlin Clark clip out there. And, oh no. Oh no. And after just being shocked, I haven't heard it yet. I just saw Ken Swift post it 2 minutes ago. Ken Swift posted a shout out to him. That's where I get 90% of my videos, just like it's where all of us get like 90% of our videos. Let's be real. Let's see what she says.
I know where you're going to go with this one. Caitlin Clark will win MVP.
That's a fact. Elle, she was as close to the second best odds to win it last year. And I think after we came out of the All-Star break, she had a couple of games where I think she was sort of like the favorite to win MVP. And this was no...
What? 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 What?
Disrespect to obviously Asia Wilson or Nafisa Collier, and obviously Wilson, pulled it down the home stretch and got another one. But
what? In fairness, what is he on about? I gotta say, there was no stage where Caitlin Clark was seen as the MVP last season. There was people saying if she had like a 30, she was on such a heater that if she played Asia twice, and if she really outperformed Asia twice, then maybe she'd be in the conversation. But like, maybe then we could start the conversation. But there was never a stage she was MVP. And by the way, both Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark sucked in those games. Neither of them played well. It was like meant to be the whole battle between Caitlin and Asia, and they were both in a competition over who could shoot the worst, who could play the worst.
Caitlin Clark being in that very, very short list of second best odds, third best odds, and I think that's where she actually finished in her rookie season. Yes. New coach, new veteran players, yes.
To be clear, there was never a time where she was the favorite to win MVP.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm actually agreeing with Elle Duncan. Elle Duncan's right. She's right on this one. There was never a time.
There was a time after the All-Star break that she made it an interesting conversation because it was a runaway train for Asia Wilson.
It should not have been a runaway train, but the debate should not have been with Caitlin Clark. It should have been with Fee Collier. Fee Collier, like, the fact she didn't get a vote for MVP is crazy. Is crazy. But again, I don't think anyone should be arguing Asia Wilson winning MVP. It's just mad the Fee didn't get a vote.
The entire season.
I disagree.
Post All-Star break. I mean, Nafisa Collier is the one that finished second, but it became more interesting. It's like when, Jokic is the undisputed guy, and then all of a sudden you see a guy like put together a really great half of the year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last year. So then all of a sudden the conversation becomes more interesting.
What? Shai's going to win MVP this year.
But like they took the odds down. I mean, it was Asia Wilson's to lose, but I will say a couple of things. Do I expect Asia Wilson to be Asia Wilson again this year? Yes. But I also know there is such a thing as voter fatigue. They don't like giving anybody MVP 3 times in a row. They barely like to do it 2 times in a row, let alone 3 times in a row. I just don't.
Asia Wilson hasn't won MVP twice in a row. What are you talking about? What is she talking about?
Don't see it simply because of voter fatigue. Like it just is what it is. I also think that Caitlin was putting it together in such a way last year. They're only going to get better, and now they've got a full off season together. I could 100% see this happen.
She's going to win by voter fatigue. Cool. That's it. It's not even that bad. This sounds worse. If Caitlin Clark wins MVP, it'll be because there's a voter fatigue. It's not. SGA should have won MVP. He's going to win it this year. But who won in 23? Stewie won in 23. Asia wasn't even second in 23. She was third. Like, my favorite part about all this is like, I love how a WNBA I look how she said Asia has already won 2 straight. That's mad. That is mad. Like, it's just rewriting. She's won one every other year. But they were talking about her winning 3 straight. Like, Elle Duncan is just factually incorrect. By the way, this debate is an argument for who is the most incorrect. He just completely made up that Caitlin Clark was in MVP talk. Not was in MVP talks. That became the favorite for MVP. There was an interesting conversation. to be had.
I mean, Nafisa Collier's the one that finished second, but it Jokic is the undisputed guy, and then all of a sudden Alexandra last year. So then all of a sudden the conversation becomes more interesting. But like they took the odds down. I mean, it was A'ja Wilson's to lose. But I will say a couple of things. Do I expect A'ja Wilson to be A'ja Wilson again this year?
That's fair.
Yes. But I also know there is such a thing as voter fatigue. They don't like giving anybody MVP 3 times in a row. They barely like to do it 2 times in a row, let alone 3 times in a row.
I hope. I really do hope that this is that she knows that she didn't win MVP, and not only that she didn't even finish second in MVP. But I think that might be too much. That might be too much to expect from, an employee of ESPN. I hope that she knows and it was just a misspeaking. But this, I hate, I don't even think, she didn't mean to say, she meant to say 3 times. A'ja she's already won 3. She's already won 3. I also don't think this is as bad. She did not imply, she basically said A'ja's probably not going to be in the conversation because of voter fatigue. And with that, Caitlin Clark's definitely in it. There's always people. When it comes to voter fatigue, nobody, for example, let's just say 2020, it's getting a little bit different now because obviously people are kind of changing their tone of voter fatigue. But nobody really complained that much in, say, I'm trying to think, what was the last time there was a real voter fatigue in the NBA? I can't even remember. That I would consider really that. There was none for Nash 2 in a row. Jokic for Embiid. And to be fair, Embiid kind of got slandered for that. But it is. It's a bit of a weird one. And I do think that nothing would be said about this. Embiid over Jokic, but I think the Kendrick Perkins thing where he brought up a list of voters and said that the only reason Jokic won any MVP is because voters of a certain race keep voting for him. So all of those voters were scared to vote for Jokic. Kendrick Perkins implying that anyone who voted for Jokic was a racist. That was more than voter fatigue. Elle was saying it may be a reason why A'ja may not win, and more so why Caitlin will win it. A'ja could have another incredible year and be undeniable. Who knows? And that's the thing. If A'ja Wilson, to overcome voter fatigue, you have to be better than the previous year. That is a thing when it comes to it. And it's the reason why Giannis has never won another MVP. Because until actually this season, he never eclipsed what he did in the regular season, those 2019, 2020 years. And it's the reason why Jokic has eclipsed voter fatigue is that, ironically, his first MVP, he wasn't that good. Everyone else was just injured and it was a weird season. The second MVP, it wasn't like he was absolutely lighting. He was good on a bad team. And the third MVP, the one time he was the 1 seed, he didn't win MVP. And the third MVP, they were 1 game off the 1 seed and he was fantastic. And then this year, because his seed was lower, he's not getting it. So it's when it comes to players like that, you have to Malone over Jordan. It was voter fatigue, but also you have to take into account that was it Jordan's best season? And it's the same with LeBron a couple of times. Both Jordan and LeBron should have had more than 5. But you have to always make that argument. So unless A'ja Wilson leads the league in rebounding, has 27 points, does it on similar shooting percentages, and the Aces are a top 3 seed, he didn't have a better season than last year, so she's not going to win MVP. If every single player has identical seasons to last year, and the records are the Fever, as expected, 1 Liberty, 2 Lynx, 3 Fever. Fee's winning MVP, Caitlin second. But that is the thing, is to win multiple MVPs in a row, you have to improve year on year, or you have to do something different. If the Aces end up as the 1 seed, or A'ja averages 30, she's probably going to win another MVP. But unless one of those things happen, or maybe even the 2nd seed, she's not winning MVP. She's not going to win it.